Okay, let's talk about a question that has baffled K-drama fans for years. How does a show with, let's face it, the most predictable premise in the world become a massive global sensation? Today, we're getting into the anatomy of a modern classic. What's Wrong with Secretary Kim? This is a show that took a familiar recipe and somehow turned into a Michelin star meal.
And I mean, let's be real here. A filthy rich, narcissistic boss and his brilliant, long-suffering secretary, you know the drill. We've all seen this story play out a dozen times. It is the absolute bread and butter of K-drama romance, a setup so common it honestly borders on self-parody sometimes.
But that's the real mystery, isn't it? If the premise is so cliché, how on earth did this show become one of the most beloved, rewatchable, and critically acclaimed rom-coms of the last decade? That's what we're here to figure out. Let's break down exactly what went so right. All right, first up, a formula perfected. You see, the genius of this show wasn't about avoiding the cliches, not at all. It was about embracing them, leaning into them, and executing every single trope with so much precision and so much heart that it all felt completely fresh. And the numbers? Well, they speak for themselves. This thing was a ratings juggernaut, especially for a cable network, which is no small feat. It was adapted from an already super popular novel and webtoon, and even years later, its IMDb score is rock solid. This wasn't just a hit show, you guys. This was a full-blown cultural phenomenon. So what was the fuel for this phenomenon? Honestly, it all comes down to one simple, unstoppable force. We're talking about the absolutely electric, once-in-a-generation chemistry between the leads, Park Seo-joon and Park Min-young. The double Park phenomenon. And this is really the core of it. On one side, you've got Lee Young-joon. We're talking peak narcissist energy, but underneath all that, he's actually this loving, deeply repressed guy. And then you pair him with Kim Miso. She's quietly formidable, she's got these hidden depths, and let's be honest, she is a pencil skirt icon for the ages. It's that push and pull, that perfect opposition, that just creates these incredible sparks. One reviewer just put it perfectly. They said he plays a narcissist so precisely calibrated that you simultaneously want to slap him and take him home. I mean, come on. That is not just good acting, that is witchcraft. It's a total masterclass in how to be charming and complex at the same time. But all the chemistry in the world doesn't matter if the story doesn't hold up, right? Well, this is where the show pulls out its secret weapon. Because this isn't just a rom-com. It's a rom-com that's built on top of a genuinely haunting psychological mystery. And you can literally watch this unfold across the series. The first few episodes are all sharp, hilarious comedy. Then it slides into that classic, comfortable romance phase. But then, right around the halfway mark, it takes this incredible, dark turn. The whole thing pivots from a light, breezy office romance into this heavy story about shared childhood trauma. And that tonal shift, that's what gives the whole story some serious emotional weight. Okay, let's switch gears a bit, because the world these characters live in is just as important as the plot, and you absolutely cannot talk about the world of Secretary Kim without talking about its other main character, luxury brands. This show is a straight-up masterclass in the art of product placement, or as it's known, PPL. Now, for anyone who's kind of new to the K-drama world, PPL is basically the not-so-secret engine that funds a whole lot of these shows. Brands can pay to get their stuff featured right in the middle of a scene. And let me tell you, Secretary Kim didn't just use PPL, it turned it into an art form. The sheer range here is kind of fascinating. You've got Maserati cars that basically act like character accessories. The jewelry from Stonehenge is woven really elegantly into the actual plot. And then you've got the luxury bags, which are so front and center, they are literally name-dropped in the dialogue. It's this wild mix of subtle and, what can I say, charmingly shameless. And this quote just nails it. There's this one scene, it's a beautiful, quiet character moment that also happens to be a full-blown 90-second commercial for Shiseido products. Both things are true at the same time. It's a perfect example of how K-drama PPL just operates in its own beautiful, weird dimension. So, we've got the chemistry, the story, the luxury cars, but why does this show have such a lasting legacy? Beyond just being a really, really good watch, why does it actually matter?
Well, for one, it basically perfected the modern workplace romance. But more than that, it cleverly challenged its own cliches. The female lead, Miso, has her own goals, her own ambitions, and the male lead, Young-joon, isn't just fixed by the magic of love. No, he's forced to grow and become vulnerable. And because of all this, for millions of people around the world, this show was their gateway drama, their first real taste of the K-drama universe.
I think maybe the best way to sum it all up is with this one final thought. The show is like the K-drama version of a perfect espresso martini. At first glance, you might think it's a little frivolous, a bit light. But then you realize it has a real kick, it's made with genuine craft, and it has a complexity that totally rewards you for paying attention.
Which brings us to our final score, a 9.1 out of 10. It's a true masterclass in the genre that proves a simple question, what's wrong with Secretary Kim, can lead to a story where absolutely everything, from the acting to the writing to that wonderfully shameless product placement, went undeniably perfectly right.